Yeah, you know what time it is. It's time for the Geekenders podcast. MegaRan, Jesse and Dodger, what up? Let's go. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow and see what the Geekenders are all about. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow. #1 geek podcast, without a doubt. Yo, another end of another long week. Got a job and a kid, I know that you all beat. So take a second, grab a drink and vibe while we catch you up in just a matter of time. On gaming, comics, whatever you're doing. If you're nerdy like us, then you know you should tune in. Thank you for sharing our world with us. Now follow, subscribe, and turn this up. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, scream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow. #1 geek podcast, without a doubt.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Geekenders with Misa and Yusa.
Gungans no liking outsiders.
Word.
I figured if you're gonna go a little Jar Jar, I would make me your boss nass like.
You know what's funny is I forgot that would be a Jar Jar thing. I was trying to do a spin on the Misa Muska Mickey Mouse.
I don't know. I don't
Misa,
know what that is.
Miska, Muska, Mickey Mouse.
I don't. That does not ring a bell. That I don't know what you're talking about.
Diggity dog.
What?
This man needs more Mickey Mouse in his life. Or
I
maybe
do not.
Or maybe less. I don't know.
No, I'm all. You know what? My quantity of Mickey Mouse is exactly where it needs to be.
That's so
I
fair.
don't need. Yeah, what year of Mickey Mouse is this? Is this modern Mickey Mouse?
This is new-ish, I think. Did you ever listen to They Might Be Giants?
Sure.
So they have a song, hot dog, hot diggity dog. They used it as one of the like intro or like repeating music sequences that happened in a newer sort of like CGI Mickey Mouse House show.
All right. So when you say CGI, you mean it's newer Mickey than I have ever watched before.
Sure.
Sure. Okay.
Sure. Yeah. It's like Bubble
Cool.
Mickey, you know.
Yeah, no, that doesn't. I've never seen any of that, and it does not. Hey, this must be one of those I have kids things because I don't know what that is.
So I think, oh gosh, there's gonna be a parent out there that's like, this bitch doesn't know shit about Mickey Mouse. But
You're not wrong.
no, about me.
No, I know. I'm aware.
The Miska Muska Mickey Mouse thing, I think, is what they say to reveal a clue. There's like a Blue's Clues style-esque Mickey Mouse thing. And they'll be like, what do we need? Miska Muska Mickey Mouse, I think. It's,
Oof.
bro, I don't know.
Big oofs
I don't
in the
know,
house.
dude.
Wait, so what? You know what? Miska Muska Mickey Mouse is one thing. You saying Misa Dodger, Yusa Jesse Cox is just Jar Jar Binks. There is no like Miska Muska Mickey Mouse. You didn't go like Miska Muska Dodger in the house. You didn't do anything. You literally just went.
In my mind, it was Miska Yuska, which is what I said. Roll the tape.
If you
With
you know
Miska and Yuska.
Okay, Jar Jar. Okay.
And Mickey Mouse.
Right, and Mickey Mouse. Live
And
on
our
the show.
special
Our
guest
guest
today,
today,
Mickey
Mickey Mouse.
Come on out.
You guys owe me $100.
Only $100 to
That's
lock
right.
in Mickey? Damn.
I need drugs, kids.
They'll come for
I'm gonna
us,
get a
dude.
cease and desist from Disney. Our star character Mickey Mouse does not use drugs.
do drugs.
Yeah, I'm
He's
gonna be
high
like,
on life.
point of order. I've seen a Mickey Mouse where he drinks coffee, and caffeine is a drug. Checkmate Disney.
Hot dog.
Yeah. And he needed the $100
diggity dog.
because coffee is so expensive here in California. Boom.
Damn. Boom.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Gotta take that, Mickey.
He needed, when you've got the money, you have expensive taste. And he was like,
right.
I exclusively drink Civic Cat coffee.
I like when the monkeys poop out my coffee.
I love the poop coffee.
Gosh,
The depth
Nick.
of flavor is really incredible.
Mickey loves his poop coffee. Gosh. I came straight from a monkey's butt. It's not a good voice. It's not a good voice. It didn't sound like Goofy at all.
No. Oh my God. Incredible.
Yep.
How are you, buddy? How's life?
I'm doing great. Obviously, my camera's still busted, so I got a new camera, and the settings are all out of whack, and it's so bright that I turned all the lights. It may not seem like that to you at home. Every light in this room is as low as it can possibly go, and I still am so bright. So, welcome to my reality for this podcast. I'll figure it out.
I told Jesse while the intro was running that he looked like he ran into a vampire on the way to work today, and it made him very sad. I didn't mean to make you sad. It just looks like a little of your blood got drained. That's all.
I must stress, you wounded me, and broke my heart.
I'm sorry.
You really did. Yeah.
I'm sorry, dude.
Unlike Edward Cullen, I don't sparkle. I just don't do it. I'm more like the Pattinson Batman, where I'm like very pasty.
If you were going to be a vampire,
right,
and you had to choose two like classic vampire things that hurt you or were like a downside of the vampirism, what would you choose?
Sunlight and betrayal.
Go on. Explain
you asked for
more.
two classic vampire things. Why should I have to explain them?
No. This saying the hardest part about being a vampire is the betrayal doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. That's
totally
not a
does.
thing.
You trust people, you bring them into their home, vampire hunter. Frankly, I don't like it. Who am I supposed to know who to trust?
Okay, and
I turned
your second
an
one?
entire village's amount of wenches into my sexy vampire slaves, and then they send people to kill me? Can't trust anyone anymore.
So you want to burn in the daylight and you want there to be vampire hunters. That's what I'm hearing.
No, I don't want that. That's just what I have. That's my problem.
You would choose that everyone betrays you over sparkling.
Yeah, oh no, I'm no bitch. Sparkling? Come on now.
Oh my God. Okay.
What about you? What would your two choices be?
I think I would choose to be hurt by crucifixes. I don't think that would come up very often for me.
You'd be walking down the street and then be like, what the hell? No,
That's
there's
true.
too many
People wear them
crucifixes.
a lot. That's fair.
Yeah, there's too many.
But I guess
although if you like pick the right location, like if you went like I don't know, there's plenty of places in the world where there just aren't crucifixes everywhere.
True.
You could do that.
You just have to live long enough to be old money.
Sure.
Yeah.
What's your second one?
Okay, so crucifixes. My second one would well, I feel like you could figure out how to get away with sparkling. I feel like you could get away with that.
I don't. Well, you could.
In LA.
Because I feel like there's a societal expectation that like if a woman is glowing or sparkling, then it's like sexy. If I did it with this beard, people would be like,
it would be incredible.
What the hell?
It would be incredible, and you're a coward.
Here's the thing. You're not wrong. I wouldn't know how to handle the attention. People would look at me. I'd get awkward. I'd say, I'm not a vampire. And then those vampire hunters would find me and kill me. So, yeah.
But we're not adding in vampire hunters.
Oh, wait. So if I glitter, there are no vampire hunters ever?
No, because that would be a downside, and we didn't choose that downside.
Okay. I change everything. I want to be a day walker, and I want to glitter.
Okay.
I want to be like Blade, but I glitter.
Yeah.
Basically, great. I'm just Blade, but I glitter.
Yeah. I like it. Good.
I sparkle.
Great.
Yeah.
I'm glad we sorted this out.
Yep. Plus, in this scenario, I get to say like really cool one-liners and stuff. And I get to kill Deacon Frost. That's pretty cool. But imagine the scene where he fights the blood vampire whirlwind tornado. Right. He's just glowing. He's just beautifully, immaculately glowing. That would be awesome.
I want the scene remade, to be honest.
I like that.
That'd be incredible.
Because there's only ever going to be one Blade.
Yep.
I like that. All right, I'm back in. I'm back in on glittering.
Fantastic. So now that we're both established vampires,
right?
Have you ever played any of the observation duty games?
I am aware of them. I can't for the life of me remember if I played them or not. I've watched so many people play that at this point my memory is so messed up that I don't remember if I've played them.
So I played one for the first time yesterday with Summer. I had never watched anybody play one. I had never, I didn't know anything about them. And Summer was like, there's a new one. Number 7 just came out. We should play it. Dude, that game, it's so easy to gaslight yourself in that game.
Sure.
The entire thing is like, was that coat there? That coat wasn't there before, was it? And you check it, you're like, it was there. That coat was there the whole time. Oh my God. And then it'll just be like little change. So, okay, I'm so sorry. Anybody who's watching / listening right now, let me pitch these games to you as, you know, potentially other people that have no idea what these games are. It was pitched to me as Adult I Spy. So it's like a spot the differences game, except it's horror themed or spooky themed. Right. You could argue there's like a little like SCP vibes there, right? So essentially, you are someone who is looking at a series of cameras, and they are watching different angles of the same location, essentially. So the first level I'm on observation duty 7 is a spa. So it's like the front desk, the sauna, pool number 1, pool number 2, right? Like it's just cameras
sure.
of different areas in the spa. And the first like in-game minute, you have to last for 6 in-game hours, but like the first like few minutes are just establishment time for you. So you click through the cameras and you're trying to memorize as much as you can about what these rooms look like. Mm-hmm. And then slowly things will start changing. Some of them are really small. Like, was that water bottle always there? Or like the example that I gave before, was there a coat on that coat rack? No, right? It's that sort of stuff. But it might be more obvious. It might be like you go to a room and suddenly the lights are flickering and you're like, oh, the lights weren't flickering before, right? And essentially you are trying to correct anomalies, quote unquote. You're trying to correct weird things that are happening in real time as they're happening and last a certain amount of time. Some of the things that happen in these rooms scared the absolute shit out of me. Not because they are legitimately scary, but because you are so focused when you're playing this game. You are like not blinking, locked in, just clicking through the cameras, trying desperately to notice what's different. that when something big or moving is different, Jesus Christ, I lost like 5 years of my life, dude. It's really fun though. I see why they do so well. I
don't know what genre this would be, but there is a big influx of this lately where it's either a game like Observation Duty or a game like the Exit series. Yeah. Like I just played one the other day where you have a bunch of VHS tapes and you put them in and you are like in the camera, right? And you're like in the scene and there's some weird thing happening and you have to figure out what it is. And it can be anything from, like you were saying, it can be anything from like, wait, is that a water bottle move? Or suddenly you turn the corner and there's like a, yeah! And it's just, it's one of those things where it's not scary until suddenly it's terrifying.
Right.
And you're just like, why'd you do that to me? That's not cool. I was just, and is this like a brand new thing or has it been a slow buildup? I don't know. All of a sudden, my recommendations are filled with these games. I love them. So, but like these anomaly based games where, and what's weird about it is you go in expecting a lot of the time like a scary game because that's kind of like the genre. Sure. But half the time when you play them, they aren't scary at all because it's randomized. And so sometimes you may get 0 scares. Yeah. And so a lot of people were asking like, yo, you should Scary Game Squad this. So I was like, I'm gonna let you know, most of the time it will not be scary. It'll be us like, what is that? What is that? How does that, what is that thing there? It's a weird genre, but I love it.
Yeah. One of the things that can show up on all of the maps in Observation Duty is just like a naked guy. And it's almost like basically looks like the same model of naked guy every time. And if you report him as an intruder, he will stare right at the camera. And if you don't swap cameras fast enough, the game just ends. It's the first time I saw one of these dudes, I was like, what the fuck? But then the entire time after that, we'd be like, where's our naked guy? Where'd he go? Where's our naked guy this time? He's not here anywhere.
What's so funny about that is that has the exact same vibe as my apartment complex. It's just a normal apartment complex. But for some reason, the guy like catty corner to my apartment. So if this is my door, this is his door. He put in one of those like Ring doorbells. Okay. So every time I go to my door, his Ring doorbell turns on.
Sure.
And so now whenever it turns on, I just go and look directly at it and then go, and then like walk into my apartment because I know it goes off for him. So I know somewhere on his phone, I was like, bro, every time I come home, that thing goes off.
Yeah.
There's no room there for us to, it will always go. So I just keep looking. It's the exact same vibe. I'm just like,
hello. Good to see you again, neighbor.
It's been that way for like 6 months. That man must have so much footage of me just leaving and entering my apartment. It's almost creepy. You know, I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, no, those games are great. They're super fun. But you're right. A lot of them don't have in programmed like deaths. They haven't programmed a thing approaches you and then the game just is like, you are done. Play again. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, like the only like forced deaths that happened that weren't associated with the general like play of the game. So the most common way for the game to end is for you to just not find the anomalies, right? You have to consistently find them. And eventually an alert will come up at the top that's like, you know, you got to, there's a bunch. There's too many now. You got to start finding them, right? And if you don't, then it says the anomalies have taken over. It's literally just a black screen that comes up. The anomalies have taken over. It says, here's how many anomalies you found, and here's everything that you were missing. But like you said, it's randomized every time. So there are some that like seem to consistently show up on the same maps, but generally, you know, finding out like, oh, this, that, and the other thing changed doesn't mean that the next time you play, you're going to have an easier time, you know?
Right.
But yeah, the only like game overs that weren't like that, I think, were, there's like a weird, like warble, like there's like I don't know how to put it. Like the whole
like
room will look like it's
screen.
warping, basically.
Yeah.
And then if you don't deal with it fast enough, the warp just like takes over everything, you know? So yeah, you're right. It's stuff like that where it's not like, oh my God, something's killing me. It's just you're on the other side of a screen. You get like sucked into some sort of weirdness and then it's done, you know?
Have you ever played That's Not My Neighbor or Not My Neighbor, whatever that game's called?
We talked about it before on the show, I think.
I think so. Yeah. I was trying to remember if you had. I think that's probably the best version of an anomaly spotter, the one that I enjoy the most, because it isn't entirely obvious, but when it's obvious, it's like creepy and weird. And then you have to do a lot of research, but it isn't like you're on a crazy timetable, so you better rush or else the world's going to swallow you whole. It's like, okay, there's a person standing there. They look weird, but like maybe that's just a normal kind of weird. And then you have to like figure it out. That's kind of my vibe. I don't like when there's like the anomaly is something like, a great example, I was playing it was either Exit 8 or Sengakin Zero, whatever the hell that game's called. Yeah. Where it was one of those things where I was looking around trying to find whatever was weird or different. And it was straight up just like one piece of artwork had one guy moved in the corner. And I was like, that's not even scary. That's just frustrating.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like that at all. And yeah, there's a lot of that mixed in with also then it's like, if you enter the subway car, a monster chases you. And I'm like, okay, I get that. I understand that. But then you can't just be like, in the next car, there's a pair of eyeballs out one window, and you have to look at every window and everything else. Drives me crazy.
Yeah, I haven't played those games. I remember I opened up Exit 8, and I can't remember why I didn't wind up actually playing it.
I think you'd enjoy it. It's very, very... a platform 8's the same thing, where it's just like you're going zoop around in a circle, and after a while, it becomes very easy to do. The thing is that blew my mind is that, I don't remember which one it was. One of them, I solved first try, going through, beat that game like a pro, and the funniest thing was people were like, it took me 3 hours to beat this. And I was like, I did it in 20 minutes. I'm like, am I the best player ever? And then my ego got me, and then I started questioning myself and second guessing myself, and then it was downhill from there. But I guess if you go in and you have no expectations of how brilliant you are, you're just gonna be like, see it, spot it, nothing, see it.
I don't know about that one, but it was actually so fun to play observation duty with another person.
Absolutely.
Because like when we'd both yell out the same thing, like, that car, something's up with that car, you know, we'd be like, holy shit, are we just like fucking awesome gamers? You know? But you're right. Immediately, the second you say something like that, immediately after you're like, what the fuck? I can't find any anomalies anywhere.
Yep.
So
yeah, and sometimes there just aren't anomalies, and you think you're so good at finding anomalies, you then spend a ludicrous amount of time looking for something that's just not there.
Right.
Like, I'm good at this, guys. I'm very good. And then 20 minutes goes by. You're like, is there something? And the worst is when you think you've convinced yourself there's nothing. You spent so much time. You leave the room or you change the camera. And then it's like, you failed. There was something there. You're trash. World ended, idiot. I'm like, all I want to do is go to the spa today. Yeah.
Ooh, I have another like co-op, or not co-op, but like multiplayer thing.
Go on.
Did you ever play Buckshot Roulette?
No, but I watched enough people who played it. My concern to TPH was everyone was like, you guys should play it for Scary Game Squad, and I was like, what's YouTube's vibe on roulette on a Russian roulette vibe game?
Sure.
So I was like, maybe we won't.
Also, I don't know that it counts as a Scary Game Squad thing.
Neither do I. But I guess the idea of maybe I'll blow my face off is kind of scary.
I don't think it counts as Scary Game Squad material. I think it would be really funny
just
to watch
play?
you guys
Sure.
play it.
Right.
So Buckshot Roulette is single player. for a while. It's very fun, very weird. But you pretty quickly like learn how to utilize the items that it gives you and sort of like game the system if you have the right things available to you, right? It's exactly how it sounds. It's a Russian roulette style game. You at the start of the game basically like go into the basement of a weird club and there's a spooky little man down there and he's like, "Do you want to play a game with me?" And you do, but it's a shotgun. And then there are a bunch of different items that you wind up getting, things like a saw to saw off the shotgun, a magnifying glass to be able to see what's next in the chamber, a polarity shifter to change it from a blank to a live round, like just weird stuff like that, right? So they've added multiplayer. I played a little bit of it last night with Sam, G Martin, Benji. It's really fun multiplayer because the like mind game betrayal element is very funny. It's really fun because eventually playing like the base game, it's still really fun, but like at the end of the day, he's a computer, you know? So it's a really fun game to play with other people. And like, this might sound fucked up, but like, it's really fun when one person is like, "Oh shit, I lost count. I don't know how many live rounds are left in there." And everybody else just kind of like, you know, looks at each other, quote unquote, at the table, like, "Do we tell him?" You know, like, we're not going to tell him, right? You know, it's just fun. It's just fun. I think adding multiplayer was a boon to the game for sure.
I wonder how much of a chaos agent you could be. Like, I keep thinking is if I was going to play a game like that, obviously in real life, I'd be a terrified little baby boy. But if I was going to play the game version of just like put a gun to your head, I feel like I'd be the guy from Band of Brothers who was just like, "Don't you get it? We're already dead." And I would just I'd be like, "Give it to me again. Let's go, bitches." I'd be like crazy. The one at the table that would like, everyone be like, "What?" I'd like make everyone else nervous.
Right.
I'd be like, "Click. Let's do it again. Click." I'd be like, "Let's go." I'd be the crazy guy.
Yeah, that's what.
Don't
that's
you
what's
see?
Fun.
We already are dead.
Because
like,
each round, basically, the gun is put in the middle of the table, and then it'll show you for this round, this is how many live bullets there are, and this is how many duds there are. And then it randomizes where they are in the chamber, and then you just go for it, right? So it could be as much as like there's 4 live rounds and 3 not live rounds. I can't remember what you would call them. Blanks. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, sometimes it's literally like there's 2 of each. But it's very fun to sort of like sit there and be like, well, so many of them are blanks. Because the benefit to shooting yourself, so typically, so you can choose to shoot yourself or to shoot other people at the table.
Mm-hmm.
If you shoot yourself, you get to shoot again. If you shoot at someone else, whether it shot them or not, it's the next person's turn after that. So one of the ways that you can sort of like, if it's really obvious to everybody, you know, oh, the next 3 bullets and they're all live. And you're like, well, I don't want the next person to decide to shoot me, right? If you have the right items, you can just wind up getting rid of all 3 of those bullets. If you have the right things, you know. But yeah, it's very fun to be like, well, there's 4 blanks in there. I'm just gonna shoot myself and see what happens. It's fucked up, but it's really fun.
Yeah, I think it's what sucks about this is I realize the reason why I would go full Chaos Agent is because if I made it through, that'd be an incredible video clip. And I'm constantly thinking about content and I'm like, dude, that'd be amazing. Right. If I just kept trying to shoot myself and I wouldn't die and then everyone else at the table died and I was like the crazy guy, that would get a lot of views.
Yeah.
I suck. Ooh,
yeah, it's fun.
Well, I like
the
idea of playing it with a group. I think that's very creative. It's much better than just you versus a PC.
Yeah, I mean, again, like the first time that you play it against the computer, you know, it's fun because he's like a squirrely, weird little guy, and you're like, I don't know what his deal is, you know. So this adds a new element of like, I don't know what to expect because you're a human, right? I'm playing this game against a human now, and I just think that's fun.
Yeah, especially when it comes to big groups. If it's like 1v1, it's like, okay, I know what's going to happen. But the minute you get to 4, the idea of, okay, I'm going to shoot you, but now I have to think about if I shoot Dodger, is Sam going to purposefully shoot me? Like that kind of, so like, okay, hold on. So do I need to shoot Sam? Does Dodger have the guts to shoot me after I blast Sam? Like that kind of like,
yeah,
you know, like which one of them cares more about the, like, hold on. G-Mart, where's he stand on this? Like Benji, obviously we're all shooting him first. We're all killing Benji first. But like, yeah, like that vibe, it's very interesting. I think that's fantastic. I love that stuff.
Yeah, it's very fun.
Chat says Sam would shoot Dodger twice.
I killed Sam
I believe
twice
that.
While we
this
played,
scenario involves me shooting one of them first. So either I live long enough to watch Sam blast Dodger twice, or I sit there and decide which person I want to murder. Either way, people dying at that table.
Yeah.
No.
Absolutely.
Yep.
What have you been up to? What have you been doing?
So I played Dragon Age yesterday.
Oh,
I have
how is it?
many a thought and many a vibe. I'll try to go through it like a real person would go through it instead of my normal. Sure. I'm extra crazy and hype and will ramble about stuff.
First off, how long were you in character creator?
An hour, roughly.
Okay.
Hilariously, not for the reasons you would think. So when I first started character creator, I think look, absolutely, I'm expecting like, you know, that like section of the internet. You know that section of the internet. I'm expecting them to be very like, but when I first made my character, you kind of have like a blank slate. And at the beginning, I didn't know whether I clicked a male or female character. And so I just started making my character. And then when I went to the voices, it had like a feminine voice. And I was like, well, where's the masculine voices? And chat's like, dude, you made a lady character. It's like, but he looks like a dude. Like, nope. I was like, fuck. So I had to go all the way back. Thankfully, it saved my character. I was pissed because I thought I had to remake the character. Right. And that's just wasted time. I was so mad. I was like, do not do it. But worked out fine. I made a like little sassy dwarf. He was great. But the most amount of time that I spent was recreating my Inquisitor. Because you can bring your Inquisitor back from Inquisition, right. And I just wanted to make Nick Mage again. And I forgot how much work went into creating Nick Cage in a video game. And it was just so... The thing that I realized what they had done, and this is what pissed me off at first, is I couldn't get the proportions right. And I was like, why are there just no options for this? But there's a thing, and I don't know if it's a shader or what you would call it, but it's like skin tone. And as you go through it, it literally, based on skin tone, there's like 40 different variations. It changes the shape of your face. And I was like, oh, this is what I needed to mess around with. So it took a lot of learning and a lot of stuff to do. With that said, there's so many goddamn options. Like just the most, like there's 80 something hair options.
Oh my God.
I will say my biggest complaint about the hair options, while the hair looks amazing, there's no old dude hair.
Oh.
So there's one bit of hair, which is full bald, but with like a long hair in the back. That's it. Unless you intend to play as like a 20-year-old, I don't think you're playing an old man in this game. And I really tried to make like an old grizzled dwarf. So instead I made a like sexy, fat little boy. I made a perfectly round meatball of a man.
I love that.
He's amazing. I love him. Yes, the Bill Bailey cut. That's exactly what it is. Other than that, there's no baldness at all. There's bald, but that's it. There's no other. You can't get like receding hairline. You can't get like a weird bald spot. Like it doesn't exist.
Okay.
But other than that, like character creator's amazing, almost too amazing. Like I said, I made a full ass character and then got to the end and it was like, hello there. I was like, what the hell? That's not, I want to make like a sexy deep voice.
Minute.
And they're like, no, you picked the wrong profile. It's like, what do you mean? Go back to the beginning. I will say, I think I just mistook the colors at the top. It has like, the universal symbols for male and female. But the coloring was, if it's bright, if it's white, that's what you've selected. But if it's tan, that's what you've not selected. I thought if it was tan, that's what you selected. Just totally unimportant, does not matter. But it definitely made me like, what? Anyway.
It's also just interesting to me because I feel like at this point it's become very normalized to just be like, regardless, you can have all of the voice options, right?
Right. Yeah, I would have thought so too. Because and again, I love that it gave you all these physical options and choices. The one thing I did not like, and I'm gonna be real about this, it lets you change your dong size. Not big enough. Would not go as big as I wanted. It was like flat and then and that was it. And I was like, no, dude, this guy got dick. And I was so mad. I was like, how dare you?
Oh my goodness. I'm really sorry.
I'm not saying that they made this game with this character creator so that everyone could feel like they were represented in the game, but I didn't anymore. How am I supposed to relate to this small dicked guy? I couldn't.
Sure.
I couldn't relate to it.
I feel bad for you.
I just couldn't.
Right.
It was, illusion destroyed. I couldn't relate to it.
Apparently Butt Slider also has problems that way.
I get it. I get it. Although with that said, I don't know how I proportion my boy, but in game, my guy got a thick ass. Like when he runs around, all I see is this dump truck of an ass. It's hilarious. So I made a little dwarf. I made him perfectly round and like fat and chubby, as wide as humanly possible. And the crazy thing is I went in, I was just like, all right, here's the deal. All I want to do is romance Harding. I don't give a shit about anybody else. They're gonna try and throw people on. And they've literally brought up characters where the option to romance them starts immediately. And I'm like, away with you, trash. So all I'm doing is focusing on Harding. And Harding's like, I screwed up bad and no one loves me. I will say this. In the beginning, you can't really romance Harding because she's like going through some shit.
Right.
And I was like, wait a minute. Is this game trying to tell me that sometimes you shouldn't hit on women? Like maybe they're going through their own thing and maybe just leave them the fuck alone for a little bit? Like that's crazy. Like why would they tell? Like I'm trying to game the system and get me some dwarf booty and I don't know what's going on right now. And they were like, brother, girl had a dramatic thing happen. Let her alone a little bit. I was like, so be it.
Fine.
I guess I'll learn a life lesson. And so basically, I'm only 5 hours in, so I don't have a full game take for you. But I will say that visually, stunning. The world, the environment, the characters, I think they all look great. It's stylized, but it's a style that I dig. And also my dwarf, I tried to make him like the shortest, fattest, roundest, dwarfiest dwarf who ever lived. He's still sexy as hell. This guy, every time his face is on camera, I'm like, damn, I purposely tried to make this guy not hot and he looks gorgeous. So I imagine if you tried to make your character hot, you're swimming in like sexiness. The environments are just incredible looking. I very much enjoy that. The voice acting is great. I think characterization is fine right now. It kind of has that like vibe of we're getting to know everyone, like the start of every RPG. Sure. So it isn't like I'm not too in it right now. And a lot of the characterization is kind of like, what are we gonna do? Oh no, like that kind of stuff. But the interesting thing that I'm really fascinated by is the way that this game plays is very different than other Dragon Age games. And I'm kind of down for that because when I first played, I think Dragon Age 1, I played, I think, a rogue. It has been longer than I care to remember.
Yeah.
And then following Dragon Age games, I always played a mage or some form of spellcaster, because in the first game I was like, well, I'm up front, I'm doing damage, I'm fighting, but also I kind of missing all the action behind me. I'm not seeing what the other characters are doing. It kind of feels weird. I'm always so in the games after that, I decided I want to be in the back so I can see everyone kind of moving around and doing cool stuff. I think I realized I just hate playing mage characters because I'd always get burnt out and be kind of bored and like, okay. So in this one, I decided I'm going to play a little short, fat, badass tank. I'm going to have a sword. I'm going to have a shield. Let's see what happens. The first 3 abilities I get in this game sold me on it instantly. Okay. I made the right choice. 1, I can throw my shield like Captain America and it comes back to me. It's awesome. 2, I summon, you know how in Final Fantasy 14 paladins can do like swords from the sky? Same ability except they're fire swords. And I was like, awesome. 3, the first ability you get is a jump kick.
Oh, hell
and it's so funny because the first couple areas are all like on cliffs and shit. And so when enemies attack you, be it floating bad guys, darkspawn, whatever, angled towards the cliff, and I'd run my little dwarven ass. Like, the funniest part is, as a dwarf, I have the exact same run speed as any other character, I assume. So when I do like a circle, the bad guy goes like, it's hilarious. So I'm running top speed as a little, like, I picked the smallest, fattest dwarf you could be.
Right.
I run at you and then go, yo! And I've kicked so many dudes off cliffs. It's hilarious. It's one of the best things I've ever, it's so funny. I laugh every time. I cheer. It's incredible. Guys fly off cliffs all like, there was one fight, it was against a bunch of bosses, like big, strong guys. And I was like, just every time I'd angle them towards the cliff, get my rage up, and then be like, yeah, and then run at them. Oh, hilarious. Very fun.
That sounds very fun, yeah.
Pure Spartan kicks. And I saw a bunch of people, I mentioned it on Twitter. I was like, yeah, I'm really enjoying the combat. This is a ton of fun. I can jump kick dudes. And everyone's like, you can jump kick? Apparently is straight up just reserved if you are a warrior class. Oh, so nice. For everyone who doesn't have it, you're missing out on some truly amazing shit. Damn. Very fun. Story-wise, it is legitimately a continuation of the DLC from Inquisition. So if you didn't do any of that shit, you're gonna be like, what? What they do is they try to like catch you up very quickly on what's been happening. Mm-hmm. And they have Varric kind of give you like the lay of the land and the story. But other than that, it is straight up like, we are continuing this story. And if you didn't play that and you don't care about that, then I don't know what to tell you. Right. There's a, again, this is very just for me. And I assume other people feel this way, but I don't know about the majority of players, and that's fine. Everyone's allowed to love different things. But there's something about this and it being not open world that I'm so thankful for. Like the general flow of the game is like you find a hub, and when you're in the hub, you open these portals, and the portals take you to different levels, right? And those levels are very story based, and you're going through the story, you're experiencing these missions, and it's kind of like you know, a glorified hallways, but you know, you're going through passages and stuff, but it's like everything's a dungeon. Okay. But it's outdoors, that kind of shit. I love that. And I know a lot of people won't, and that's totally fine. But Dragon Age Inquisition, the first area killed me with that game. Same. Hinterlands can kiss my whole butt. Same, I hated that. And I feel like because Witcher 3 nailed open world so well, everyone just said we have to do open world. I'm gonna let you know, not every team is qualified to do open world. Like sometimes just don't do it. Even if you think you should, don't do it. And that's what I love. Like a great example is you can hunt for stuff. Like if I'm in, you know, I'm in this ancient elven city, right? And there's constructs and darkspawn shit trying to kill me. And yeah, I can look in little corners for treasures, or I can look under bridges near waterfalls. But everything that's important, like a suit of armor or whatever, if you just keep going, you'll find it and you'll get it. And I'm like, I'm fine with this. I'm totally okay with this. I know people are going to complain about this. I don't give a shit. This makes me feel like I'm not going to spend 85 hours just wandering the wilderness. Yeah. And I'm okay with that Big fan of that. And so that sat really well with me.
Yeah, honestly, like since playing Warframe and also starting to play Metaphor, I've realized like I really love just like enclosed dungeons.
Yep.
I love instanced missions. I love that. I'm just like, I know exactly where my parameters are. I know exactly where I need to be to complete this thing. And then it's done. You know, it's actually nice.
Yeah, I am absolutely enjoying this game. I had a blast. I really like the characterization. I love the world. I love all it. The one thing I don't like, and I will consistently feel this way about BioWare to the day I die, their damn option system when you answer people and talk to people still is too vague. Like, I spend more of my time sitting at that like wheel of choices, trying to figure out exactly what I'm about to say, because it's like it'll give me options. And I'm sitting there trying to like woo Harding, and it's like she's like, "Yeah, I can't believe I screwed up," and you get 3 options. And none of them are exactly what I want to say. So I'm like, okay, well then how would I figure out what I want to say? And all of them, when I say it, I even reloaded once to see what would happen. And all of them was just like, none of these are what those 3 options said they would be. I'm like,
yes.
The thing it says when it comes out of my mouth is not that thing. And
I
it drives
that
me
being
crazy.
A huge issue in Inquisition. Like,
it always drives me crazy. It never, the thing, I think the difference is with this one, I don't think you can be a piece of shit. Like, even though my little guy is like a hard ass, I don't think you can be like a Mass Effect baddie. Right. I think they've removed that from the game, which is fine because you're a hero in Dragon Age. I don't know what kind of Smurf thing you're doing right now, but it's very funny.
Hold on, I'm sorry. I'm listening, I promise.
But, yeah, I don't know exactly. I think because you're supposed to be the hero, they're giving you heroic options and you can't be a bad guy, but it looks great. But with that said, a lot of those options, it's like trying to figure out what it is you're going to say to people. And a great example is one time I was having a conversation and I made a choice, and that choice had a negative effect. The character was like, I don't like that.
Okay.
So I reloaded for, I didn't want to, but chat was like, reload, you reloaded in Baldur's Gate 3, you can do this. Like, all right. And we went through all the other options. No other option gave me a bonus. Only one option gave me a negative. And I was like, wait, so all the other options were just like, yeah, all right. But one was like, you screwed up, dude.
One was bad, though.
I was like, so there was no good option. There was just one bad option. I was like, weird. Interesting. So, but with that said, it didn't like affect anything. It hasn't made me dislike the game, but it's one of those things that just BioWare always does it. And I'm like, couldn't. But then someone in chat was like, well, Jesse, the point is it's supposed to be vague because it's, one of those, you're not trying to game the system and be like, I'm going to figure out what the best answer is. You're supposed to say what you would say. But with that said, what I would say is never any of the options. Not once in any of these games is it ever the option. What I would say, I'm just like, well, what I would say in this situation is this, but they gave me 3 options that are not anything Jesse Cox would ever say. So, all right, I got to pick one of these and figure out what the hell I'm actually going to say. When that always drives me crazy. But with that said, the game itself and like the gameplay, enjoying the shit out of it. Good. I absolutely love playing the game, like gameplay wise. Yeah. So I'm having fun. My hope is that secretly this is actually just like a much shorter game than people are expecting it to be, so I can actually get through it and have a good time. But we'll see what happens. Yeah. Question, you said you played Metaphor?
I mean, I've still only just played the beginning, really.
What's your vibe? What do you? I love Metaphor. That may be one of my favorite games of the year. It's so good. I
haven't gotten any further than I was last time we talked about it, I don't think. So I had played the demo up to the point where it was like, this isn't really a spoiler, where it's like you've got a couple of days to like do whatever you want, like in-game days. And I was like, okay, this is super fun. I like this a lot. And then the game came out and I thought to myself, I don't really like how where I was allocating points. So I decided that I wanted to go back and do mostly luck because I think something that's really cool, and maybe other games have been doing this, and I just don't know because I don't really play a lot of JRPGs anymore. But something that I think really lightens the load of choosing where to put your points is that the game randomizes 1 point for you, right?
Right.
So when you level, when you like your main character, when they level, you have 2 points. One goes to I don't know if it's a random stat or if it's a stat that the game chooses like in a specific way.
It might be based on the archetype you choose. I honestly don't know. I have no clue.
And then you get a second one that you get to put wherever you want. So it hasn't felt like, okay, if I do an all luck run, like I'm still going to be a weak magicless baby, right? I still have fine stats and everything else. I'm just putting a lot of them into luck. And I am finding way better items than I was the first time around. So I'm like, I feel like in the long run, even you could argue that this is going to be very helpful, because then you'll wind up, if you sell those items, you wind up with more money and then you can buy better gear and whatever. Right.
I will say, speaking of luck, when you dive into the full game, at a certain point, you get like a personal vehicle airship kind of thing. I don't want to spoil it. It's wild. But every 5 days, if you go to the bathroom, you get a point of luck.
Yes.
So
I remember us talking about this.
I'm just saying, a luck build actually might be the easiest build to go. You might be able to get like a bajillion luck by the time you're done playing.
True.
I don't know how many days you have total, but I feel like every 5 days, it could be your highest stat easily, which would be hilarious. Because as you level in chat, I think people are saying that your lowest stat may be the one that levels.
Oh,
so if you keep dumping into
that
luck,
makes sense.
Yeah, then your other stats will just automatically pop up, which very interesting.
Yeah, I've gotten back to basically where the demo ends.
Sure.
You cut a lot of time out of the game if you're skipping cutscenes, dude. Like a replay actually is no big deal. If you've already seen the cutscenes and you're skipping them, that is so like a huge bulk of the time, at least at the beginning. So I got back to that you have a couple of days part. And I haven't played since then, but I really need to. So, but yeah, I enjoy it.
I'm so obsessed with metaphor as a concept that I've genuinely pitched to Atlas, like, yo, can I make like a video about Hieronymus Bosch and like Thomas More? Like, if people are not unaware, the enemies in this game are literally ripped from the artwork of Hieronymus Bosch. If you don't know who Hieronymus Bosch is, Google it. You'll be like, what the shit am I looking at? Man was like in a different, imagine the Renaissance, imagine the Ninja Turtles, Leonardo, Donatello, all those guys making beautiful works of art. And then Hieronymus Bosch is like, I'm going to draw a fish with people legs poking a person in the butt while a bird eats a man and poops him onto a tree that's made of limbs. You're like, what? It's crazy. Love it. Absolutely insane stuff. And at the same time, they throw in other things like the character Moore, who hangs out in the library. It just happens to be the dude who wrote the book on called Utopia. And the book in the game is about a utopian society. Just so much is going on in this game. And I love it. It is like pure nerdetry for me. As a person who loves this kind of stuff, just pure madness. And I cannot get enough of it. It is right up my alley. It's like one of those, like, I'm using my brain while playing this game because they got weird stuff happening. And what does that mean? And what is that thing? And how does that work? And love it. Love it. It really is a brilliant game. With that said, if you played a Persona game, you've played this. Like, real talk. It's Persona minus going to school.
Which
like, if Persona's not your vibe, you may like this because you don't have to do school stuff, but it's still Persona games. So if you never enjoyed Persona, then like, you know, you may not like it.
Then shrug.
Yeah.
Might not be your bag.
But I love this. Yeah.
No, the other thing that I played this week is the Sonic X Shadow game. Which
Hell yes.
is so good. Which is so good. So basically, Generations. So basically, it's a remaster of Sonic Generations, but then they also made a whole new game that is Shadow Generations. So it's 2 games in the one.
Does he have a gun in it?
He has like a goopy venom gun kind of thing. It's okay. So I love this so much. It is so unapologetically like edgelord deviant art. Like I love it. I love it. Like everything going on in Shadow Generations is so serious. Like it takes itself so seriously in the best way. It plays really well. I really like pretty much every aspect of it. And then, yeah, the game like gives you new abilities as you play, and they're all like, you have this weird ooze that comes out, and like you fight with it, or you make wings, and like like shit like that. And
amazing.
Yeah, at one point, one of the first abilities you get is like you can lock on to up to 5 enemies and just shoot goop at them. And I was like, gun! We have a gun! Yeah.
I must stress, like, to everyone at home, I love the Sonic vibe that exists right now in the world. I think it is so much fun. I have unabashedly seen and love every Sonic movie they've released. I love all the games, even the ones where it's like Sonic powers up and suddenly rock music starts playing and it's like edgy as shit. Love it. Unabashedly love it.
Dude. Yes. Someone in chat said the dev said that Shadow doesn't need a gun because he is the weapon.
Yes. With all that said,
I love it.
Hilariously, this is a truth I believe in the core of my body. Our dear friend Crendor has been sick for weeks. He got COVID, and then COVID went into laryngitis or some kind. Like he just got worse and worse and worse.
Right.
To the point where he's still streaming, but he's using a voice chat mod to talk for him.
Oh, Bobby.
And he's super sick. And the reason he got sick, and this is, I believe this because it seems accurate. He went to a Sonic the Hedgehog concert. And I've never been more sure an audience would get you sick. I'm like, if I, like, I am, a Sonic the Hedgehog concert, you're definitely getting something from that concert. It is, like, it is the same vibe as like, you need to hand some deodorant out at a convention. You know what I mean? Like, it just has that vibe. And you don't need to, like, if you were to say I got COVID at a Sonic the Hedgehog concert, I would not question it. In fact, I would be like, I'm surprised people didn't get COVID there.
Right. Oh,
and it's just very funny to me. And I'm like, he's fine. He's doing better. But just absolutely, I would believe that. Like, oh, you got sick at the Sonic con? Someone went to the Sonic concert and got everyone sick? Yeah, no, I believe that.
Shocking.
Yep,
my goodness.
The best part was he's like, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know any of the music. It was fun, but like they were playing rock songs and stuff, and I didn't know what that was. It's like, bro, that's when Sonic goes full supersonic, and he turns yellow, and he starts fighting guys, and he's blasting around the speed of the sound. I'm like, you don't get it, dude.
Man, poor Crendor. I hope you feel better, buddy.
He's fine. I don't hope that. I hope he learned his lesson. Sonic concerts,
to go to Sonic concerts?
Wear a mask, kids.
Sonic, he
like
can really
Sonic
move.
Mask is what I'm saying.
If they didn't play that song,
running around at the speed of sound.
Man.
Sonic.
They're
Sonic.
bangers. I would go to a Sonic concert.
I mean, now that I know it's a hotbed of disease, I don't know that I would, but I would still play the games. I love them.
Double mask up.
Mm-hmm.
And then do some of these.
I unabashedly, every time they have a games done quick, watch the Sonic speedruns. Doesn't matter which game it is, even the ones that are like 3D where he has to run around and collect orbs. I will watch them religiously, and I'll watch people do like one guy. I think the last games done quick, they had a guy who did the Orby collecting bits in reverse, where he'd run backwards, and he's like, I memorized them, and I was like, it was incredible. Crazy. Sonic is great to watch speedruns.
Yeah.
I'm a big Sonic fan. I'm just sometimes embarrassed for the community. I'm just saying, again, everyone should at least once in their life Google their name plus the hedgehog.
Yeah,
enjoy that.
I was saying when the Shadow the Hedgehog trailer came out, I was like, guys, now is the time while everybody is like really all up on Sonic again. I need the people who made Sonic OCs when they were kids to redraw them now that they're adult artists. I need like the side by side of like, this is what I drew when I was 10 and this is what I've drawn now that I'm 30. I need that. I need to know.
I literally just wrote in Jesse the Hedgehog, and the first two images are incredible. And I love the internet. I love fandom. I love all of it. Jesse the Hedgehog is awesome. There's two versions too. One is edgy as shit and one's just like a white hedgehog. Man, everyone should take the time. Take the time, find yourself your hedgehog. You'll enjoy it. Are you Googling Dodger the Hedgehog?
No, I realized I don't think I've ever looked up Brooke the Hedgehog. Jump scare, everybody. My government name is Brooke.
I love that Brooke, the first Brooke the Hedgehog, is just like very sweet looking.
Yeah.
Then there's another one. She's wearing Uggs. Very like all yours look great. Mine. Hold on. I'm gonna input this. I'm gonna input this link because it is. This guy fucks. Here you go. Chat. Enjoy. Everyone should just Google that. That guy's awesome.
Whoa, he's so cool.
That guy saves lives and then gets laid.
Damn.
Yeah. Jesse the Hedgehog rules. Yeah. Big fan. Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Anything else that you're excited about? Anything else you do recently? They were like, oh.
There's a book that I have tried to read so many times called Six of Crows. It's by Lee Bardugo. So if you watch the was it called Shadow and Bones? Sure. The show on Netflix. It's the same universe, and actually the main characters from Six of Crows are in Shadow of Bones.
Okay.
Six of Crows. So I was told that this book is amazing. I just need to pretend that all of the characters are adults because all of the main characters are like at the mere age of 17, right? And the longer the book goes on, it feels like a joke. Like these people are not 17-year-olds, right? Like it's one of those. So all of my friends that love this book, they were like, just pretend they're adults because otherwise it's so hard to just like go along with it, you know? Mm-hmm. So anyway, I tried to read this book a few times and it's not like there was anything wrong with it. But for some reason I just couldn't get past like a specific part at the beginning. And then I was looking up lists of good audiobooks, and someone was like, honestly, one of my favorite audiobooks is Six of Crows because it has a voice cast instead of a single like reader for the book. And I was like, ooh, that's interesting. So Six of Crows, the way that it's split up is every chapter is not from the perspective of one of the characters. It's not first person, but it like follows a specific character. And so each of the characters that narrates a different chapter, like the main characters that all consistently get chapters, they all have a different voice actor. So there's something really, really charming about it. I love it. I'm like addicted to it now. I'm blasting through it. So this was definitely the right call. But it's really charming because it's all of them trying to like kind of be on the same page about what these characters sound like, because they're, you know, the person who does like Kaz's chapters, he doesn't pop in during Inej's chapters to read his lines, right? It's the person who does Inej's chapters reading Kaz's lines. So it's it's like really cute because they're all like voice acting all of the characters. It's really fun. I like it a lot. And it's made it so much easier to like stay invested, and like I'm loving it. I love it. And it's made me want to now look up audiobooks that have like a voice cast instead of just a single like I've
been in a few of those, strangely enough.
Have you?
Weirdly enough.
Like
yeah,
what?
I've done a few of those. I did one, my favorite one I did a long time ago. This, I don't know, maybe like 10 years ago, was I was the Alex Jones character in it, which was awesome.
Amazing.
There's little interstitials where like an Alex Jones guy just shouts stuff about the internet, and they were like, "Do you want to do that?" I was like, "I would be honored." So it's just me shouting loudly. Very good. I believe the book is called After On.
Okay.
Anyway, I have a bunch of books in my life now too, which is crazy. So someone sent me a while ago, and if you did, my apologies for absolutely forgetting who sent this. But I got the book House of Leaves sent to me. Never read it. Have only heard things about how weird and bizarre it is. It's one of those books where it's like, because I mentioned that I really liked Ship of Theseus /S, that weird J.J. Abrams book. That was like 3 books in one. I love that. I like weird shit, right? And so I loved the way that book was formatted. And I also was really into the book Ascension, which is about a, like the premise is imagine Earth, but then like suddenly in the middle of the ocean, a mountain appears. And everyone's like, what the hell is that about? Okay. So they send expeditions to it, and it's written in the form of like journals. And it's one of those, the higher you climb, the more the world slips away and you become like eldritchy madness, right? But it's done in journal form. I love that kind of stuff. So they were like, hey, you might like House of Leaves. It's a book where it's the basic premise is like a house, but like the inside's bigger than the outside. And I was like, oh, that's kind of fun. But the book itself is worded insanely. And I guess it's based off of like a collection of, I don't even know. I don't know. I haven't read it yet. But when you open the book, like some pages have like one word on it. I'm like, what the shit is this? So it could be amazing. So that's on my list of things to read. And then the next thing that was suggested, which is so funny to me because it isn't a Jesse book, but it's so funny. I kind of want to read it. I'm going to read you the premise of this because it's just nonsense. And I love this for myself, for the internet, for everyone.
Okay.
It's a book called Star Eater. Okay. This was recommended to me. Star Eater is about a floating city where cannibal magic-using lesbian nuns rule, and men turn into zombies after having sex with them. I was like, this sounds insane. What? I must read this book. I will laugh my way through it.
Is it long? How long is it?
I don't even own the book. It's on a list of things people sent me, and I'm like, I kind of want to know. I kind of need, if there's an audiobook version of this, even funnier. Like, I just need to know this. It sounds hilarious.
It does.
And so it sounds like both art and also one of those books that's on Amazon that isn't really a book and it's just like porn.
Right.
I fell in love with the werewolf. So I don't know. It's very interesting, but yeah, I love weird books because something, I don't know what clicked in me at some point. I think it's because in high school they made us read the classics. And so it's kind of like my brain was just like, I don't want to read this. I don't want, like you'd be forced to read a book.
Yes.
And at some point I was like, well, I want to read more and I want to read things and like get back into reading. And I realized that like the weirder the book, the more I'm in. So like if your book just not just the content, but the actual book itself. Like if you got weird, like if the pages are strange, if it's like this book was recovered, the last journal of the entry of Dr. Harrington, and before he was brutally murdered, I'm like, yeah.
Now we're talking. Let's go.
Yeah, I want not just to feel like I'm reading a thing and using my imagination to create the world of like Evermore, where Daphne, the elf girl, fights off the evil. Like, no, I want the book itself to also be strange. Like the idea of, like, remember in Never Ending Story, Sebastian's reading the book under the covers with the light in the storm. He's not just experiencing the never ending story. The kid is like freaking out reading this book, like, oh, what's gonna happen the next page? That's what I love. I love that stuff. I unabashedly like read every Dan Brown novel way back in the day because they read like movies. A chapter's like 3 pages. And so you're just like, what shit's happening next? What's this going to be? It isn't the best writing in the world, not the best books, but like it's so engaging that I love that stuff. I need to be like, what's going to happen next? What's this going to be?
Yeah.
What's that?
I went through a period of time where it was just like really difficult for me to finish a book. And so I started looking up like weird or creepy novellas. That was a good call. I highly recommend trying to gear shift into novellas if you have trouble finishing books, because it's like 100 pages, maybe. I think the best one that I read was like 70 pages or something like that. Yeah, it just makes it so much easier, and you feel so accomplished. Like, I finished it. I read a book. I did it, you know? And yeah, I totally agree. The weirder the premise is, the easier it's going to be to get through it, because you're like, what the fuck is going on? What is this, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think modern society messed us up in a way that, like, when I read something that I'm not immediately engaged in, my brain's like, what else could I be doing instead of reading? Yeah. Or maybe when I read, I should put on music. But if I put on music, I'm done. I will not focus on the book. Like, I need to focus on. So I need the book to be great, which is why I saw someone in chat say, when you read House of Leaves, bring a pen to make your own notes. And that's why I loved Ship of Theseus, because that book literally is a book plus one person's notes plus another person's notes. And so you have to determine how you want to read it. Are you going to read the book and then read the first notes and the second notes? And just like, basically you're reading a book 3 times, or are you going to read it and then on the page see what people are saying? Because the way it unfolds is like a little unreliable narratory.
Sure.
Big fan of that.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I love that stuff. Or books that are like fantastically interesting, but may not be true. Like, I love books. I'm going to say it wrong. I don't know if it's correct. I think it's 1491. Like, books where it's like before America was discovered by, you know, it's like, here's what's going on the continent and how amazing it was. And like, it was this beautiful, like, basically like a native metropolis, kind of very cool stuff. But then also there are books where it's like how China found America first, or like and it's like, okay, interesting. I love those kinds of things. Yeah. I also love good what if books. I'm a big history nerd for what if books. Like, what if, you know, Germany had won World War II, like that kind of stuff. Or those interesting things like that. I'm always like, oh, okay. I'm a big fan of that stuff. Is any of it like important reading or true? It's all like, well, we found a stone somewhere, and it may be that this is, you know, we're gonna link into this, but yeah, I'm very curious about that stuff. I love those things. So yeah, at the same time, I think back on having read Frankenstein and Dracula and Of Mice and Men and like all the Shakespearean classics. Like, at the time, hated them. Like, even reading through like Jane Eyre or like all, like, hated reading them because I probably was 17 at the time and was like, this sucks. With that said, having done so, I think it only made my life better. Like, understanding, like, experiencing classics. I can't hate on it, but boy, do I not think it's something you should do to a kid in high school. But I don't know when I don't know when you would read them otherwise. You know?
I was talking about, I was thinking, literally having that conversation about this, about Animal Farm.
Right.
How, like, it's not that I didn't understand what they were trying to teach us about Animal Farm, but I know for a fact that if I sat down and read Animal Farm now, I would appreciate it more and what it's trying to do more, you know? I don't know. You're right. The only time that we're forced to like sit down and read important literature is when we're teenagers mostly. And at that point, there's all sorts of other shit going on in our brains. And like it's hard to care as much as like you should about those books until you're older, you know?
You've got so many things going on in your life that you just don't care about trying to read it. It's not important to you. Plus, it's like all the books they're making you read are at least right now, 75 years plus old, right? And they don't translate, but they want you to read it. They want you to feel, you know, I get it, but I also think having experienced it like well rounds you out as a person to read those things, even if later in your life you do not read that much. I'm very excited. Speaking of reading, I absolutely loved Project Hail Mary. Very good book. I believe it's by the exact same dude who did The Martian, I think. Boy, I can't remember right now. I'll have to look it up. But I guess that's getting a movie now, which I'm very excited about.
Nice.
Because I love The Martian, and I also love The Martian, the movie. Both of those, very good. I loved what they did with The Martian in the movie. And Project Hail Mary, fantastic book, and absolutely going to be a great movie. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. But I'm a big fan also of when like science is cool. Like it isn't like the thing I love about The Martian is it isn't like trapped on Mars. What will they do? It's like trapped on Mars. All right, I'm a scientist. Let's figure this shit out. I think using science to be like a badass is cool as shit. And so big fan. Can't wait for that. Like I love those kinds of books. Those are fun. I'm currently reading reading's a lie. Audiobook listening, potentially for Chilluminati. There is a book called Long Haul. It's about long haul truckers and a series of murders. It's like real. It's like a thing is happening where long haul truckers are going around the country, and like there might be a serial killer long haul trucker who's going around in his truck driving all over the country murdering people. And I'm like, what? Fascinating stuff. So that might be a Chilluminati episode coming up as I'm listening to this book because it's
interesting.
Very interesting. I love a good book. I'm a big book guy. I don't have cable anymore. I have exactly 3 like streaming services. One because Amazon, I have Prime, and so I just have it. And Netflix and Hulu are because my parents don't use them. Wink. But that's like it. And then I may or may not borrow, wink, 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 Disney Plus. But like that, I don't. I'm doing a lot more book reading and music listening these days, and frankly, it's a vibe.
It's nice.
Absolutely feeling it. Yeah. Getting old.
Well, I can't help but when this sort of conversation comes up, think to myself, like, it's difficult because I'm raising a little human now.
Sure.
And like, you want so badly for them to love reading and all of these things, you know? But again, kind of like what we were just talking about, like, if she's not like enjoying reading at this stage, it doesn't mean that she's not going to enjoy reading when she gets older, you know? And that if I am like forcing her to read a bunch of stuff, it does not help. Again, as we established, being forced to read a bunch of stuff does not make you love reading.
Yeah, it's one of those things where they have to be into it. Like this is when I taught, I'd always get in fights with other teachers about the fact that there were several girls in our senior class who always had books with them, and they were always reading, but the books were always like basically erotica.
Sure.
Like they were all like tales of like a woman like just living a best sexy life. And people would get mad at them having it in class. And I was like, yeah, all right, in class, probably not appropriate. But if they have free time to do whatever and they're reading and not just like goofing off, I was like, my God, let them read. Even if it is a book like that, at least they'll read other things. Like they're reading.
Yeah.
We're literally trying to teach students who may not graduate. And you guys are mad at them for reading a book. I was like, let them read. Who cares if it's like on this page, it has like a sex scene. The rest of the pages don't have that. They're reading a book about this woman going through some shit. Maybe that relates to their life more than, like, I don't know, Catcher in the Rye. Like maybe that's more important to them.
Yeah.
Like let them read. So yeah, I it's definitely one of those things where I would imagine that Clark would pick up reading if it was something interesting to Clark,
Yeah. We had a conversation the other day because I was realizing that she hasn't really played with like any of her toys in a long time because she always wants to be making stuff.
Sure.
So she's, she takes after me and is a little craft kid and she just always wants to be like making things. And I was like, what should we do about the toy situation in this house? And she was like, I still like the toys. I just don't want to play with them. I was like, all right. An interesting conundrum we've got, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
is it like one of those like Marie Kondo things where it just doesn't spark joy for little Clark anymore?
What I've started doing is if it's a thing that I haven't seen her play with in forever, I put it up in my office and I just keep it there for a while. And if she's never like, hey, where's that thing? Then fine. But yeah, she'll play with stuff if like a friend comes over and is like, I really want to do a tea party. She'll be like, all right, where's my tea party stuff? But if it's just her wanting to like zone out and like do a thing that she loves, it's like, where's the jewelry making stuff? Where's my needlepoint stuff? Where's the clay? Where's the, and it's like, that's great. Question? Yeah.
When she needlepoints or creates things, what happens to that stuff when Clark's done?
It depends. If it's something that she's obviously like still wanting to work on, then I keep it on the windowsill.
Sure.
We have a box that's like, this thing is completed, but I, as the grown-up in the situation, don't believe that we're ever going to do anything with it again and that it has no purpose.
Sure.
It is in the same room. It goes in that box. And if it stays in that box, it's sort of the same concept as The Office. If it stays in that box for long enough, and she hasn't wanted to do anything with it, then we sort of figure that out later, but
I guess what I'm getting at is I wonder if the act of creation is the fun and the product doesn't matter, right? The product is just a product, but I wonder if it's like fun to, again, I'm no parent. I clearly don't know this is probably would scar this child, but I love the idea of being like, okay, you made a thing, and instead of just having it around the house and just sitting there and gathering dust or being in a box, being like, Clark, let's make a like Clark shop where all the things you create, we put out and like kids can pick it up. And then even if no one picks it up, like you could put like, sometimes people do like a book thing outside their front yard or whatever.
Yeah, like a little free library sort of thing.
Yeah, like Clark's gifts for kids or whatever. And Clark makes this, and then like even if no one picks it up, Sam can just go out there and grab it and then just like toss it and be like, Clarky, someone took it. Like just the idea of it being like a thing. So it's out of your house. Clark feels good because Clark made something cool. Right. And then, you have this idea of like the creation is the aspect of it rather than now we have a bunch of weird shit around the house that a kid made one day and we don't know what to do with it. Yeah. Right? Like that could be super fun.
Yeah. That is a really cute idea. It's sort of similar to the kids that go to like parks and like sell their artwork. And it's just like little stick figures and stuff. It's very cute.
Yeah, and it isn't like we're selling it for a lot. It's like just the idea. Sometimes I feel that way with, you and I in this industry. We get sent a lot of stuff, and sometimes I like think, oh my god, I love this thing so much, and then I'll just keep it in the box on a shelf for 5 years, and I'll never touch it again. And I'm like, what? And then when I give it to someone who genuinely loves it, I'm like, that felt pretty good.
I should have done that a while ago. Yeah.
And I'm like, I would, one, clear my entire room, which is exactly what I keep trying to do all the time. And two, someone's happy and they'll love that thing.
Yeah.
And so,
when she's wanted to like sit down and make a thing, I've tried to start being like bracelets. She loves to make bracelets. And so now if she sits down to make a bracelet, I'll be like, who's this for? Who are you making a bracelet for? And
Very
that
smart.
way, it like she's now got like a little box for when she comes back from holiday of like, I've made these bracelets for these friends and I can give them to these friends,
cute. Yes. I love that.
Yeah, trying to instill like, it's great that we're making this thing. And again, it's cool to just be making a thing just for the fun of making a thing, but like, would it be fun to also give this to someone? Yeah.
Speaking of gifts, I see people in chat are picking up on this. Last time you mentioned the Life is Strange box you got in the mail.
Did you get it?
I got mine, finally. What's your vibe? Because do you have red Doc Martens coming to you? Because I
have them already. And can I tell you, I have never had to stretch out brand new leather boots before in my life.
Neither have I. Yeah.
Have your boots gotten to you?
So I did my research because I'm 11 and a half shoe size, right?
Right.
12 too big, 11 too small. And so when I went to their website, they were like, yo, you're either getting 11s or 12s. And I was like, brother, what? So I went and looked up all the feedback because I've never owned a pair of these shoes in my life. They have always been like, that seems too expensive for me. I don't, right? And they were like, here's the deal. If you get a 12, it's gonna be way too damn big. And if you get an 11, it's gonna, if you're 11.5, get an 11. Just do it because it's leather, it'll move and change. I was like, okay. So I did, and they're fine. But yeah, I've never had like real ass, I've had like shoes for a suit that are whatever the hell that you get at like the store to like match your suit. That's not the same. These are like different. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I was looking up all sorts of stuff, same as you. And it was like, wear them around the house like once a day and then try taking them out for like a short trip, your second week, try wearing them out of the house a little bit. And I was like, Jesus, really? But when you put them on, you're like, oh, fuck. I can see how these will hurt your feet so bad if you aren't careful.
Yeah.
I even looked up, there are like basically like plush, like heel things that you can buy to protect the back of your foot and the front of your foot specifically for shoes like this. So yeah, I've been trying to I've got some socks that are a bit thicker. I've been trying to put those on and then wear them out of the house for 30 minutes at a time or something. But I get the feeling it's going to be quite a while before they're comfortable. They are not comfortable.
What's so funny to me is so I'm like a big Air Force One guy. I own a ludicrous amount of Air Force Ones. I have like a different color for any kind of, I am that guy. And those, the whole point is do not break these in, dude. You want them to look crisp and fresh as possible. So it's the exact opposite for this. So they're like, no, break these things in, muddy them up, get them nasty. You want these things broken. Yeah. And I'm like, it goes against everything I know and love. I can't, the amount of discussion online about how to remove the crease in your Air Force Ones. I'm like, this is the exact opposite. This is crease those bad boys up. Dude.
No, literally,
get them nasty.
It's grab your dock, sit in front of the couch, at the couch, put on a movie, and just do this with the shoes the whole time that you're watching the movie. And I was like, oh my god, it's so much work.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. Yeah. Here's the thing: they look beautiful. They look great. I'm a big fan of crazy colored shoes, and so getting red is up my alley. They're like, these are the same red worn by Max, and I was like, yeah, all right, shit, let's do this thing. Like, that's fine by me. But it's very funny. Like, it's just a different vibe completely.
For sure.
However, you're totally right. Like, very few times do I get something in the mail related to a game that's like, oh, I could use all of this.
Yeah. I was like, immediately used the camera for stuff. I was so excited about the shoes. The duffel bag is nice. I opened up all of the little patches with my kid and we divvied them up. I was like, here you go, dude. Like, it's great. It was a very good package of stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. I was like, okay, to tell you how old I am, like spiritually, the camera system, I was like, I don't understand this. Where's the camera? I don't get how this works. And it literally was like, use your phone, idiot. I was like, oh. So then it prints out the things because it's your phone. I was like, how does this Polaroid work? Because there's no camera.
Where's the camera pushy button? Yeah,
Never felt so old. I was like,
it's, it's because everybody loves the Polaroid aesthetic. But actually, like, taking a picture on a Polaroid camera, once you take the picture, if you fucked it up, you're like, well, that's some of the film used, right? So I think a lot of people are moving in the direction of you choose a picture on your phone and print it off on, like, one of these little systems that makes a Polaroid
picture. And that system
is
amazing.
And like, it's great.
I love that stuff. Admittedly, the difference in quality of what... So... Dragon Age sent me a thing. By the way, did not send me a code, which I think is even funnier. They were like, here's an amazing package, 0 code to play the game. So I was like, cool, all right. But the package is like the dagger from the game and a bunch of cool maps and stuff, which that's fine. But none of that holds any like real world value. I'm like, what am I going to do with this?
Right.
I just have a plastic dagger now. Like, that doesn't help me. Meanwhile, you have like, all right, here's a duffel bag, and here's like the difference in usability. I'm like, okay, we need to all get on the same page. Like, I'd rather receive exactly one shirt than a box of daggers and maps. Like, if you sent me a shirt that said like Dragon Age is neat, I would have been just fine.
Yeah.
But, like,
no, isn't that so funny though? Like, this is such a niche issue.
Yes. Yes,
to have gotten so many press boxes that you're like, where am I supposed to put all these fucking knife-shaped necklaces? Like, what do I do with all of these?
No. And I get it's supposed to like be very like, it's supposed to look cool and be cool, but like, oh, here's the thing. I saw someone in chat say, I'll take the plastic dagger. I'll let you know. You probably will. Every Christmas, I give away all the things I got during the year. I'm like, enjoy, audience. I always do. It's a thing that happens. Go to my Discord if you want to get in on that. It's just, people in the office, they get stuff all the time. I'm like, I don't know what to do with this, guys. You can have it. My favorite one is I got a box from, Phoenix Wright. When they released the new, like, Ace Attorney collection. And the person who wanted it the most, this is no joke, and bless her sweet soul, Miss Susan Cox. My mom was like, I have to have that t-shirt. I love Ace Attorney. She took like half the... Love that. Like, she was super into it, and I was like...
Shout out to Mom.
She loves those games, yeah. So it's great. It's the problem that I have is that like if I didn't get a box, I'd be upset. But when I get the box, I'm happy I got it, and then I'm like, what the hell do I do with this? It's the same thing when I go to a convention. I'll wait in line to get a t-shirt, but then when I have the t-shirt, I'm like, why the hell did I wait in line for this t-shirt?
Sure,
it's just I think it's the exact same thing as, Clark wanting toys and then not playing with the toys. Or it's just a thing in human nature to be like, it's like if there's a party, I want to be invited to your party. I just don't really want to go to your party.
Sure. Like, I want to know that I'm wanted.
Yes.
But I don't want to leave my house. Yeah.
It's the thing I have with everything. I was like, I want that so badly. As I've gotten older, I've been able to fight that where I'm like, I don't want this. I don't want that. Oh God, but I do. Oh, I do. But then when I have it, what do I do with it? Yeah.
It's hard to deconstruct like weird capitalism shit. For sure.
It is.
Like all of us are hardwired to be like, I want the thing. I want that thing.
Yep.
I could have that thing for free. I want that thing though. And we rarely stop to be like, what am I going to do with that thing? So
it's so frustrating to me. Again, that Final Fantasy VI statue, that thing was the price of a car. And I know that 2012 Jesse, without a doubt, would have been like, I have to have it. It's so big and huge. What the hell would I have done with that thing if I had bought it?
Right.
But the idea that it was the first Final Fantasy VI statue and it's just gorgeous. I was like, I have to have it. Modern Jesse was like, why on earth would I buy that? It's the price of a car. So instead, I reached out to a guy who makes statues and had a little JC statue made. And it's not 3D printed. It's like glorious, like a real ass statue. Costs like 1/50th the price. I was like, this is worth it. Plus, it's something for me. It's personal.
Yeah.
It's something made my life so much better. I was so happy that I was like, this is what I need to focus more on this. So you'll see things like instead of me, like literally, like that's literally just a shield I had made, and then I got a bunch of devs to sign it, and I'm like, yeah, that feels pretty good.
That's nice. It's special.
Yes, I think that's where I'm at. I'd rather have less but more special things than a bunch of shit and like cover my walls with it. Like I can't, it drives me crazy. Like just stuff. But like I said, if I don't get stuff, I'm super jealous of everyone else who did.
The FOMO hits. You're like, how come I didn't get that thing?
Yeah.
I want to be able to say, I don't need this. This is tat. But I can't even say it if I don't have it.
It is absolutely like borderline hypocritical. It's
ridiculous.
Like, oh God, I want it though.
Yeah, we're busted. Yeah. We're busted. But we're aware of it, which is step one. Very aware.
Oh, I'm aware. I'm also aware that we are like just so fortunate.
Yeah.
Like incredibly fortunate. One, to have been doing this so long, but two, that people still care about us enough to be like, we sent you a cool box of like shoes and shit. Like, thank you.
Oh my God. I never would have thought that I would still be relevant enough to get anything at this point. So it's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Relevancy is a huge part of this industry, unfortunately, for everyone, which is why a lot of people are like, dude, you hate Twitter. Why are you still there? It's part of the job, gang. I have to be. I don't want to be. I hate that place. That place sucks. That place is terrible. But that's part of it. When someone's like, hey, we want to get you in on this cool brand deal. What's your Twitter number for this? I'm like, do I have to tweet? They're like, you got to tweet, bro. I'm like, okay. Like, all right. Okay. It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks. That's the job.
I'm realizing I have to leave in like 4 minutes.
I can give you 4 minutes of news real quick.
4 minutes of news. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the news. Sadly, but weirdly, exactly what you would think. Sony shuts down the Concord dev team. I'm still totally confused over that entire situation. I don't understand what they were thinking making another 5v5, 6v6 shooter game. I don't get it. And they spent $200 million on that. I don't understand. I don't know what anyone was thinking. If anything, it feels like executives should be fired, but it's easier, I guess, to fire the dev team. Remember when Nintendo was like, hey, don't put our music online, you damn kids, and they took down every single Nintendo music channel on YouTube?
Yeah.
Well, they finally, I guess, got the hint that people want to listen to Nintendo music, and so Nintendo is currently hosting a Spotify. There's Spotify Nintendo music now. So that's a thing. Obviously, game releases why. Also, apparently Nintendo released its own music streaming app as well.
Interesting.
So that's the thing. But then also, since we don't have that much time, release-wise, Life is Strange. Hopefully Dodger and I will get time to play that in the future.
Yes.
I would love to.
My kid goes back to school next week. Let's do it.
Let's do it. It's been a staple of our lives for 10 years. We got to go back. Red Dead Redemption 2 PC port is a big thing. And of course, Dragon Age, the Veilguard is out right now. If you missed it earlier, I'm enjoying it tremendously. And I hope you will give it a shot. If you don't, like, whatever, no skin off my ass, but it's fun. And yeah, that's the news, kids.
Crushed it.
Yep.
What are you up to this week, dude?
Obviously doing more Star Wars Old Canon Book Club today. And then the rest of the week, I'll probably just I'll try to play Dragon Age some more. My hope, my prayer is that it's quick. Like, I'd love to be able to beat it over the weekend. That'd be great.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, Red Dead Redemption, whatever. It doesn't matter what I said. People in chat are correcting me. It's fine. And then, what may be the single most important thing next week, there's an election happening. And this election is between Crendor and I. Once again, Crendor and I are returning to the single greatest video game ever made. We will run against each other in an election. We're going to make characters. I don't know what those characters are going to be. They're going to be goofy. And if you remember last time, Crendor's character, he made mechanical Lincoln. I made Emperor Palpatine one time. Just brace yourselves. Next Monday is going to be hilarious. So you'll have that to look forward to instead of the real election, which will be an actual shit show. So Political Machine, look for that. We're going back to it every 4 years. Crendor and I played Political Machine again, and every 4 years, it's the greatest thing you've ever seen. So we're back, baby. Yeah.
Fantastic. I don't know. My kid is finally going back to school. Not that I haven't adored every moment with her, but it means I will actually get to do my job. So I'll be back playing a game, being a mushroom, breaking in some new docs, I guess. But yeah, nothing aside from that. Same old. And hopefully you and I can do some Life is Strange. I would love that.
I would love to. Next week is the perfect Life is Strange week.
Fantastic.
Sign me up.
Yeah, let's do it. Thank you all very much for watching. Let's see. Yeah, we're good to go next week, yeah? So we'll be back here. Same Geekender time, same Geekender channel. If you want to watch VODs for any of the other Geekenders, they're all on youtube.com/Jessie Cox. And you can find all of our episodes on Spotify, on wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find us there. That's it, I think. We did some book talk today. I'm very proud of us. Look at us.
It's so weird to be like, we talk book?
We talked
so
about
proud.
books. We talked about books. I'm so proud. All right. Go read a book, guys. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, you know what time it is. It's time for the Geekenders podcast. MegaRan, Jesse and Dodger, what up? Let's go. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow and see what the Geekenders are all about. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow. #1 geek podcast, without a doubt. Yo, another end of another long week. Got a job and a kid, I know that you all beat. So take a second, grab a drink and vibe while we catch you up in just a matter of time. On gaming, comics, whatever you're doing. If you're nerdy like us, then you know you should tune in. Thank you for sharing our world with us. Now follow, subscribe, and turn this up. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow. #1 geek podcast, without a doubt.